Hello, and thank you so much for joining us here on New UL Going Places. We are super excited. For the first time ever, we're making history. We're actually having a live audience, and we will open it up for Q&A at the end. So as you all know, I am Yvonne Nobles, a life coach, mindset coach, and I help people crush fear and anxiety to become unstoppable. And today, we are so honored to be graced with the presence of Dr. Tonya Merriweather Gipson. She actually serves the body of Christ as a pastor, preacher, teacher, helper. She's authored 27 books and also is instrumental as a life coach, business coach, career coach, international recording artist, Bible Institute president, publisher, radio talk show host, and owner of a television network, LV Network. Thank you so much. How are you today?
I am well. How are you? I'm just so excited to be on with you today.
Fantastic.
I've been looking forward to it all week long, just winding down so I would be able, to be prepared for this. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
First of all, let me start by saying you look amazing. And a lot of times we have to take credence and give it where it's due, letting your light shine through. So thank you so much for coming through today. We always start with a little bit of an icebreaker. So can you tell us something interesting about yourself that most people do not know, a hidden gem?
A hidden gem about me. Well, I would say a lot of people, they don't know that I make floral arrangements. That's something that they would never, I'm creative, but they wouldn't guess I was that creative. So like the little floral piece you see behind me, I did that. And I make some other things, but I never make it known because I don't want anyone asking me to do a whole bunch of floral. It's just kind of like my thing that gives me a little peace and a little, like a hobby. That's my hobby. Yes.
Well, you can't put a price tag on peace.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing it now for about 20 years, I would say.
Oh.
Yeah, for about 20 years. Yeah, I started doing it. I started pastoring. I planted a church. And when I planted that church, I needed a way to relax. And I said, let me try something else. And, I do all the other things. So let me try something else. And I started making silk flower arrangements, floral arrangements. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so, yes, that's when it started at my dining room table.
Say that. Yeah. Oh, dining room table. Wow. Small beginning.
At my dining room table. That's what, listen here. No. With the floral thing. No, it is not going anywhere past the dining room table. Yeah.
That is wonderful. Something that's on the minds of a lot of our listeners is if you could share what actually led to your decision to pursue such a multifaceted career.
Well, with the serving God and that, it started at 5 years old. I would go out to tent meetings with Miss Williams across the street from my grandmother, Medea, and I would be the music sometimes as out there in the middle of the field at a camp meeting singing, a 5-year-old. And so that kind of, started there. But my grandparents, Medea and Horsey in the church, my aunts and uncles, my father, the late great Reverend Dr. J. Merriweather, my mother, Lady Betty Rose Atmore Merriweather. They really, really made sure that we were grounded and rooted, in the Lord. And so my father pastored for over 40 something years. And so we together, my father and I, we co-founded Merriweather Global Ministries, along with, of course, my mother might as well have founded it because, of course, she gave 90% of her feedback on things and how things should be. So I praise God for both of them. I thank God for their life and their legacy as it lives on through me and my brothers and sisters as we are continuing. Also, Pastor Troy, as we are continuing to grow Merriweather Global Ministries. Now with the other facets, meaning like the singing, it was just, I've been singing since I was a child, and it just kind of evolved into from one step to another step. I have a really funny story here. When I lived in Italy with the military.
Okay.
I was there, and I was basically at the bar humming, not to get a drink, people, at the bar singing a song, waiting for nachos, because everything in the hotel was at that one spot. And I was waiting for nachos, and I started humming, Amazing Grace, just humming to myself, waiting for my food. And at the bar, there was an Italian gentleman, and he said, "Can you sing that? Do you sing as well as you hum?" And so I said, "Well, I sing." And so he said, "Well, sing that for me." And I sung it for him. And the very next day, he gave me his card. The very next day, I was at the studio, Flying Records International, there in Napoli, in Italy, getting ready to sign my first record deal. And it was mind blowing. And I was sitting there going, "Oh, is this how it happened?" And from there, it's just really just been history from one song to the next.
Fantastic. Yes. So without aging or dating yourself, how far back did that happen?
That began in 1992.
Okay.
I've been very blessed that I've had a great recording career, as well as being able to tour all around the world, doing something that I love. Singing is just, kind of something that was like a second nature. My aunt that's on here, her daughter, my cousin Valerie T. Smith, she's a gospel artist too. It just runs in our family. Singing is like a natural thing on both sides of the family. So I was blessed that, I had a mom and her side of the family could sing, and then I had my father's side where they could sing, as well. Not only were they singers, they were dancers and all types of things. So we're pretty in the arts. It's like a natural kind of thing that we got in the genes. So that's nothing I went and overly pursued. So I thank the Lord for that. That just kind of happened. Now, as we move on to writing the books, let me tell you, the first book was Trial and Error. My brother Tim, he purchased my first book hot off the presses. And the book, I think there were a lot of errors. He just was, he had I guess, grace and mercy for me, and he didn't say that much about it, but he purchased 2 copies of that book. I must have purchased about 30 myself and other family members. I persuaded them to purchase it. It was opening your life to the possibilities.
Okay.
And it just covered things. Really, during that time, I didn't even know I was headed for being a life coach, career coach, none of that. I wasn't even a pastor at that time. And I just began writing down some things that I felt encouraged and motivated me in life to want to be successful and move ahead. And I just wanted to share that with others. That's basically how the writing became. And then I said to myself, I'm going to do 50 books. In my lifetime, I'm going to write 50 books. And so right now, actually, I'm on book 29. Wonderful. I put out book 28 a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's a devotional. It's With God, All Things Are Possible devotional. So I am so excited. My book that's coming out probably in the next month here is Coaching Notes. And so I'm excited about that. Decided to go over in that arena. Let's see, what else do we do? I just have a very active mind. I have I think it's called a hyper mind.
Whatever label people call that you're keeping moving. That is amazing.
Yes, and so I moved from that over into, I've just been blessed. God has just blessed me where I've been able to do so many things. My main thing when I moved over into the area of television, I was like, oh my goodness, this is my Oprah moment. That's what I said. This is my Oprah moment. I want a network. I want to have my own network.
Okay.
And I meant it jokingly. And my daughter, who was preparing for medical school, Nakia, she said, Mom, why don't you find out about it? And I have to tell you, I got on one of those presentations. They wanted money at that time for me to start. And I said, well, I got a lot of things I'm already doing. And let me tell you how things work when someone sees and they believe in you and what you do. My daughter said, well, Mom, I'll pay it. Go ahead and get started. And I'm going, what? I looked at her like, where you got money from? And so that was the beginning of LV Network. And here we are a year and a half later, moving right along. I've just been so blessed. We started on Roku. And about 6 months ago, we were blessed to be able to expand to Apple TV and Fire TV. And not just that, we're also on TuneIn. They're putting those in the new cars now where you can listen to that. And so I'm just so excited. I can't believe it. I've had an amazing kind of life when I look back over it. A lot of times when you're working, you don't stop to look at the things that you're doing. You're just working and you keep moving. And so believe me, if my sister was on this interview, she'd say every day she could come up with something new. She always jokes that way with me when she and I talk about things. But I just feel blessed and I feel honored that I'm able to just be able to do the things that I do. I'm so humbled, that God would trust me enough to do the things that I do. And I'm so thankful to my entire family that I can always depend on for support. You can never have enough family that you could depend on. Pastor Troy, my fiance, I'm always very, very happy. I can count on him to be on if nobody else will tune in. And so a lot of times I work on, I'm the country thing now. I came from Alabama.
All right.
Where we grew up at, and my aunt may be like, why did you tell that story? My brother Tim also may say, why did you tell that story? But we grew up in a coal miner's town.
Okay.
And before my dad started pastoring at the good church, as we would say, he worked at a plant as well. And we ran around. I ran around. I don't know about them. I'm not speaking for you, Brother Tim. I ran around part of the time with no shoes on.
Okay.
And we were just way out in the country. So I grew up really, really just a happy child. I had happy parents who were very loving. And I think when you're in a very positive place, it's easy to move ahead with things, And then sometimes as you become an adult, though, you kind of mature and you grow through the things that you encounter. And so I've just been blessed that no matter if it was good or bad, happy or sad, I have stayed the course. And so I'm thankful for that.
Fantastic.
That's pretty much it, I think. The other things, yeah.
Well, I just want to take a moment to give you kudos for taking advantage of the opportunities when they show up. Because you have to wonder, how different would your life have been if you didn't accept the invitation to sing, if you didn't write that first book, if you didn't take your daughter up on that invitation to go and research your network. And, it's those kinds of things, those little, some people think they're obstacles, but I say bring it on. Those challenges that get you to lift and elevate, because now you are unstoppable. I'm certain that if someone were to say, did you ever think about this? Or do you think you could really do that? You already know the answer because you took advantage of all these amazing opportunities. So definitely wishing you continued success. And thank you for sharing your story. Now, as we segment into the fact that you've had so far an amazing journey, curious, what type of speed bumps or roadblocks have you encountered, moments that you wondered if you were going to be able to keep going on?
Well, I tell you, I can talk about one that I had in probably a few years back. That was when I had brain surgery. And I went in, I had a headache for a month and I couldn't get rid of the headache. And they were giving me all kinds of different things. And I was like, okay, is this it for me? Is this how it is? Do I have brain cancer or something? That's the first thing you think when you can't get rid of a pain somewhere. And they did the surgery and I was like, will I be myself? Will I be able to recover from this? Am I going to be, okay? I'm just so appreciative when I hit that roadblock. My mother was there and she came up. She was a principal at that time, but she came up to take care of me. And she said, "You will be okay." It only took me, the doctor said 8 weeks. It only took me about 3 weeks to start really getting back up and getting going. But I was like, will my mind be as cognitive as it had been before? Because the doctor had indicated that maybe some of my short-term memories I wouldn't remember as clear, as I had some of my long-term memories. And so for someone to tell you that, you start thinking, oh my goodness, well, how will I operate? Because so much of what I do involves being very technical, working on the computers and designing things and working with the network and working with different artists and people. You have to be highly creative. That means that your mind has to be focused. Writing books, you have to really be focused and intent and purposeful with what you're writing and doing. And I was so just worked up about that. But through prayer and through me trusting God, I began during that time to write a journal about how I was feeling. And I think that helped me the most to get over that hurdle, that I would be okay, is that I wrote that journal. And it wasn't a journal saying, oh, woe is me. It was a journal where I was thanking God for the things that he had already allowed. And just in case I didn't get to do anything else, I was okay with that I had been given more than my share of blessings from him. And so as I did that, I began to heal. And as I healed, I became stronger. I felt more sure of the things that I could do. And I began to just jump back in there. But the story gets a little bit better.
Okay.
Right after I had gotten better, not even 2 weeks later, they found this huge tumor in my stomach. And so it was back to the operating table. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I said, okay, not one, but two at the same, during the same time. But my mother once again came. So that was my strength. She came and she stayed. And we just prayed our way through it. I wrote my way through it. I worked my way through it. The thing is, it's just not to get stuck at in the place of what's going on, to focus on where you want to be and where you want to see yourself, so that you will be able to continue working through that. I worked through a lot of pain, through hurt, taking medication. But I was determined that the things that I had started, that I was going to complete them, that I was going to be successful at them. I feel that the things I do, that they're a call. I have a calling on my life to do certain things. And so I'm determined to do those. And I'm determined to help others. I'm determined in my lifetime that at the end, they'll say, well, if nothing else, she helped others.
Excellent. And, I'm going to circle back to the fact that you said when you're writing in that journal, you maintained an attitude of gratitude. So the way you feel, the way you project, it's as if you created a new reality for yourself. So you wouldn't stay stuck. And I also applaud what you said about looking forward. It's inevitable. Life is a roller coaster. We're going to have those lows. We're going to have peaks and valleys. But when you stop thinking about where you are and you think, where can I be? That's when you start living. So you're living testimony to that. That is phenomenal. And, curious as well, because the globe is immersed in this pandemic, there are a lot of people that are facing unprecedented levels of fear, anxiety. What do you find to be your coping methods? What keeps you going?
Well, the thing that keeps me going is my faith. And I know who I serve, and I know that God is able, and I know that he has it in control, and I believe that he works it for my good. So even when I don't know what the outcome will be, I trust God. And so what I've learned to do is just kind of through this pandemic is adjust my mindset of what I think is important. It was, to me, as we're talking about this pandemic, it was amazing that a lot of people just had to pause and stop, and they had to remember what was important. And for most people, it was family. We learned how to all live the same place together again. We learned how to do, some people laughed and joked about taking out board games. For some people that had never engaged social media or any of these Zoom or any of that, all of a sudden everybody's on the same page, learning these different techniques and things together so that they could connect with relatives all around the world, as well as connect with jobs and with, friends and loved ones. So yes.
Fantastic. So when you mention that reconnection element, who or what they are your top 3 sources of inspiration?
My top sources of inspiration. Well, God is first. He's always first in my life. And my family is next, always my family. I can depend on my family, my support system. They're always there to cheer me on. When I can't count on anyone else, I can, look, I'm able a lot of times to look at Pastor Troy and know that he's going to be there if nobody else is there. My brother, Tim, and my aunts, and I just have a very supportive family. And so it doesn't matter how high I go up. I can't talk today. It doesn't matter how high I go up or where I'm at. I can always count on my family. They keep me grounded. They show me, oh my goodness, so much love. And I'm very appreciative of that. And then my third would have to be my friends, my friends and my acquaintances that I'm so blessed to meet, people like you, Yvonne, and Shawnette. Hello, Shawnette, and people like that that calls me I can't talk today, Pastor Troy, but they create within me a desire to continue to share, to grow, to know that I'm not the only one that's doing this, that we can, network together, come together, that we can make a change, that we can change people's mindset. We can inspire people. We can empower people. We can encourage them to believe that all things are possible, that they can do them, and it can start with just them. It doesn't have to be someone else. It can start with you.
Amen. And I love how you're celebrating the collaboration, because yes, you can be strong and mighty with the strength of God in and of your own. But when you take and you combine that with the power of others, well, now you've got that collective strength in numbers. And only certain cultures and groups embrace that sooner, we would be so much further. Instead of dividing and attacking each other, having that kind of unity of mind and maintaining. You're so right. Yes. So you've accomplished. And were you going to say something?
Yes, I was going to say the one thing that I have that I really realized over the last, I would say 25 years of my journey, is that it's about my mindset. It's about how I wake up. What am I thinking about? What are my short-term? What are my mid-range? What are my long-term goals that I've set for myself? Am I on track with that? I'm a person that believes in holding myself accountable when it comes to the things that I want to do. And so a lot of it, when I wake up, I will check myself and I'll go, okay, you're in the wrong mindset. You can't be creative today. You can't make a difference if your mind is wrong. So a lot of times I will just stop and allow myself to calm, and then check myself and then get started. Again, I've over the years as a life coach and career coach, I have to tell you, it's essential for you to be successful that your mind is in the right place.
Yeah. And I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but I call that checking the radio knobs, because if all this data is coming in, and you're just hearing noise and distraction, even if it's from within. Like you said, you're setting yourself up to not have a successful day. So if more people would just tune in to what is your energy and tap that to where it needs to be, get those knobs just right so everything's coming through clear, well, you're doing yourself a favor and you're going to help the ones around you. So I'm so glad you pointed it out. Now, here's the thing. You have accomplished so much and many more accomplishments coming. What would you say is the one that you are most proud of? What brings you the most joy?
Serving God. I don't even have to think about it. Serving God, I feel, as the people say, I was made for this. That God created me to serve Him and to serve His people. I never see myself as I'm doing something so incredible that somebody else couldn't be doing this. I think that because I have an available spirit about myself, that I'm available to God to use, He uses me. But not just that, I feel that I'm a servant leader. I've been put here to help others. And I think that it takes all of us collaborating, working together to get it done and to make this a great world to be a part of.
Excellent. Excellent. The collaboration element, again, I'm going to go back to, here in South Florida, many times you have the opportunity to stand on the shore side. And when you're at the beach, you get overwhelmed with the peace of it all. But then you're reminded of the might of a wave that rolls in. The thing about that wave is it wouldn't be a wave without thousands of little droplets. So most people don't get pause and think about every little drop was constituent to that wave. So when you think you don't matter, or you think that smile, that positive word, that uplifting compliment doesn't matter, think about the wave. We need it. We need it. And, I'm curious as well, when you feel like you're running on empty, because inevitably all that you do, there's going to be those moments. What exactly do you do to reset? How do you refill?
Well, the first thing I do is I pray. I have to pray. That kind of helps me to get recentered. Most of the time here, I will give, sorry, Troy, you're in the interview too. I'll give Troy a call, and I'll give my brother Tim a call, and my Aunt Lois, the one that's on, I would give her a call, and some of my other aunts, my Aunt Cretia, and I will talk to them. And they're my people where I can say it exactly how it is, how I feel about it, what's going on. I don't have to cover it up. I think it's so important that you have that sounding board because it helps you to get refocused. You have to have people in your life that you can say exactly how it is, and they still love you. They see the flaws and all, and yet they're rooting you on, they're cheering you on, and then they give you direction and leadership and guidance to help kind of refocus you and get you back on track.
That is so true. Yeah. And that truth that you have to price out on the support that comes from people that see you at your lowest and know you when you're raw and still see the beauty. And so definitely shout out to all those in your corner. And for those in our listening audience, I always advocate, if you love someone, let them know, because you never know when it may be the last time you see them. So very curious too. You mentioned a calling earlier. So what do you think? Do you choose your calling, or does your calling choose you, and why?
Well, I feel that inside of us, for me, I can't speak for anyone else. I'll speak for me. Let's start right there. I think right from the beginning, it started with me just being a happy child. Okay. So from that happiness, if you go back and look at my school pictures and friends could share them, I smiled and laughed and giggled. I was very happy. I just had a joy. So it started with that. And I would do things in the church, in the community, for others. I think as you're just doing what's natural, I think that you walk into your call or what your destiny is. I don't think it's a thing. So, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, people. But for me, I feel that while you're busy working, really doing what it is that drives you, what brings you happiness and joy, that's when you walk into that place of what your calling is. And by the time you realize it, you're already there. And you're like, oh, this is what it was. Yeah.
That's fantastic. It makes me think of that quote from John Lennon, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. So, yeah, just make it through the day. Max it, though. Don't waste a day. And then when you start looking back at everything you've done over the month, over the year, over the decade, when you can impress the ones around you and wow yourself, that you're really living. That's beautiful. So, we are curious. I know you mentioned some of the projects that you're working on book-wise, but what else do you have going on? What new projects should we be on the watch for from you, Dr. T?
Oh my goodness. I have been I've been on this natural makeup kick. And so look for a fully launched line by next year. Give me a chance to get it all together, get all the kinks out, because I've been working them out as I go along. Tried branding with one name that was like, oh no, I went with another. So I want to give myself a chance to really go through that process, if I could talk, go through that process where I can present it and it's a successful venture. Along with that, I would say I would really love in my lifetime. This may be something that no one really knows. And I mentioned it, but I don't know if everybody actively paid attention to it. But I would love to be on Broadway at least once in my lifetime. Yeah, I would love to be on to act and sing. I think that would be a major accomplishment for me, or maybe to win a Stellar or a Grammy. Hey, somebody.
Okay. That's a bar.
Yeah, I released a new song maybe like 6 months ago. I Belong to You.
Okay.
And so it's doing pretty good. I need to do, more promoting. It's always promoting and marketing and all of that. But those things I'm very excited about doing. I'm very excited about doing them. And then along the way, with my new family, my new blended family that I will have, I'm going to learn a whole lot about dancing. My new daughter, she's a professional dancer. Her name is Mariah, and I am sure that she will teach me. I don't have any rhythm. I'm not the dancer. I can sing, but I can't dance. She will work with me and maybe get me started where I need to be. But I'm excited about that in the different areas of my life as my family is blending and coming together with that.
Lovely.
So those are the things that are coming.
All right. So just a couple more questions. You happen to have your fiance on the lecture. Share your story of love, how you met each other and how you got to the point you're at now, engaged.
Okay, well, it's really amazing. I have to say I met Troy, Pastor Troy, over, oh my goodness, almost 40 years ago. I was at my brother's wedding. He was my brother's best man. He was married at the time. And I was married at the time and not thinking anything of anything except for we were there to support my brother. And 34 years later, he's widowed, divorced. And my brother gets the idea, you know what? I think you guys will be good together. So I'm going to reintroduce you guys to each other. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, what if this goes bad? This is my brother's best friend. Oh my goodness, how is this going to be? And I'm sure that Pastor Troy was thinking some of the same things, but we hit it off right away. It was like we knew each other the whole time or something, and we started talking. Some days we were on the phone. I hope you don't mind, honey. 6 and 7 hours, from right away. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, you can't be, this is like crazy. What's going on here, girl? Are you getting ahead of yourself? I thought you said you had this plan and you're going to be, you didn't need you convince yourself you don't need no man. You're going to succeed and do all your stuff and all that kind of stuff. And I had that moment, and then I said, okay, well, no, because girl, if you think about somebody else being with this man, you won't be able to take it. So, all right, girl. So I was waiting for him to say, I fell in love first, but I was waiting for him to say it first. I was like, I'm sure not going to say it first, oh my goodness. And so we kind of said it around the same time. And I was thinking, how is this going to work? He lives in one city. I live in another city. But I tell you, all things are possible. We began with it being a pandemic. Everyone was at home. So we did the dating where we had our movie night and our date night. And I would say probably this has been the best relationship for me because we got to really, really know each other, to really talk for hours. I think sometimes when you're in the same place and you right up on each other, other things take the place of what really needs to be understood and known about a person, so you can kind of disguise those things. But when you're talking with a person every day, they get to see all the sides of you. They get to hear and know about your past, your present, what you want to do in the future. He's a teacher. Okay. And so he's, along with being a pastor, so he's high and very intelligent. So he's highly inquisitive. And so I had to get used to that. I said, oh my goodness, Lord, you gave me one that's actually interested and he's asking a million questions. And so I had to say, okay, you're ready to answer the questions. At first I was like, man, this guy asks so many questions. But after a while, it became okay. And I went down for his birthday to visit him, and I'm thinking, is it going to happen this time? And I was like, it better happen this time. And I got sick, and so the moment that I thought it wouldn't happen, and listen, girl, I was looking crazy. You better hear me. It was not the proposed moment. I was looking crazy. And so I was like, that's the girlfriend side of me. Girl, no. It was like, no, this can't be the moment. Okay. But it was the moment, and he got down, and I was like, is this the moment? Oh my goodness, this is the moment. And so he proposed, and I said yes, of course, and got on the phone, called everybody. Yeah. And so we've been planning ever since.
Well, thank you for sharing. That is phenomenal. Love is amazing. And it's a rare opportunity, Troy, but if you have something to add to that, you can speak on it.
You have to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Troy. I know he wants to say how amazing I am. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Unmute.
Okay, you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, no, just a blessing, just the fact that, like Tonya said, we had met well over 30 years ago, and how when we reconnected, it was just like we were just able to pick up without missing a beat, and just she's an amazingly wonderful woman. And I would say, and I've shared this with her, and I'll share it with anybody, she was exactly what I had been praying to the Lord for, and some. So it's like God gave me exactly what I prayed for and added a little on the top along with it. And so, like she said, we've been able to make the long distance relationship work out, and I've gone there to the area where she's lived, and she's come here. And thank God for FaceTiming and being able to Zoom and various things like that, and just really look forward to life together, and just being able to do ministry and everything else together. Just really look forward to it, because she's a friend, she's a confidant, and she's a partner in life and a partner in ministry. So just a blessing to have her in my life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, honey. Thank you, honey.
Well, we wish you nothing but
listen. I say that he's the intelligent side of us. You see how his answers were so precise and to the point, and yeah, he's the intelligent side of us. That's the joke. That's our running joke between each other. Okay.
That's for you. First of all, thank you. Very honored you shared, because a lot of people are searching for love and they're wondering, what do I have to do? And my hubby and I have an expression: you don't find love, love found you. So a lot of times it's just these elements and these pieces that have to sync. And, you know, like you all said, meeting each other all those years ago, similar happenstance with us, and then long distance dating. Very funny story there. I taught him how to play Scrabble over the phone. And so it took a lot of trust, because if anyone out there has played Scrabble, you're not supposed to see each other's letters. That's the point of the game. But I would let him have a board in front of him, and I draw out the board in front of me on a sheet of paper. And I let him draw my letters. So one would think in the beginning, how could I win if he sees everything? The thing was, he was learning. He didn't know. But I knew I was teaching him too good when he started winning. So I had to let that go. But yeah, you're so right. Those elements of getting to see each other. And I mean, you know, symbolically see each other when you said you're not right beside each other. And the trust that comes with knowing, even though you're not physically there, you're still together. It's a beautiful thing. So I hope that you have that threefold cord. You both mentioned the importance of God in your life, and he wraps that love tight. Nothing's going to break it. So congratulations.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Now, before I ask the final question, I do want to segue really quick and see if there's any listener that wants to get in touch with you, collaborate with you. What is the ideal way for them to get in touch with you?
The ideal way is to send me an email, and to send that email to Tonya Gipson, and that's GIP with as in Paul. It's not a B, it's a P. Gipson Enterprises @gmail.com. That's Tonya Gipson Enterprises @gmail.com. That's the quickest way and the easiest way. And then people, I do read my own email. I do return emails. I do when you get on the level where you have my number, that's my number, and I text you back. Yvonne can attest to that. Jeanette can attest to that. I get back with you. And so I'm very hands-on, and I believe that whatever I do, whenever I'm working, the connections are made for a reason, and they're meant for us to work together and to do something from that. So I'm always honored whenever someone has me on to speak, or if someone wants to collaborate with me.
Beautiful. And I'll make sure
I'm
to
always honored.
in the description too, so that I know exactly how to get in touch with you.
Yes, it's Tonya Gipson Enterprises. Yes, Tonya Gipson Enterprises @gmail.
I'm still saving your last question. I want to open the floor. If anyone has Q&A, any questions for Ms. Gipson, any specific queries that you have, or anything you want to share while we're together, you have a little bit of time here to get that out. And if not, we certainly do thank you for your presence. The fact that you spent your time with us today is so full of meaning. So we thank you for that. And so I ask you the final question.
Okay. Final Jeopardy.
If you could jump in a time machine and you could travel back 20 years, what are you saying? What are you saying to yourself? You have 2 minutes to send a message. What do you say?
Oh gosh, you really caught me up, because I always say what I would say to my younger self. I would tell myself to be true to me and the things that I believe, and to pursue the things that bring me the most, that I'm most afraid to do, but I want to do it, to achieve my desires, I guess, and whatever I'm thinking. You caught me off guard with this one, girl. You got a sister thinking here. When I went back, I would say, the main thing I would say is to trust myself, to know that the decisions that I'm making, the things that I'm creating, that they will amount to something, to drown out the noise around me and to pursue and to keep going and don't look back.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, powerful. And, the real intent of that question is always to serve as the advice that you're giving yourself today. Because 20 years from now, you want to be able to say you continue to do just that. And again, you have proven beyond a doubt in the brief time that we shared, you are phenomenal. You have amazing things that are on the horizon. And the fact that you're willing to share that and pay it forward, we applaud and we thank you for coming through today. So as a sound off message to anyone that joined us out there in cyberspace or watching the replay, please believe in yourself. Know that you are capable of being bigger than you imagine and that you are going to lift lives around you, but do it from a place of love. So we thank you so much for coming through. Dr. T, is there anything else you want to share before we sign off?
I just want to make sure that one thing is that the people that are listening in, that they have to realize that being very resilient is something that's very important, because when it gets hard, when it gets difficult, when you can't see the finish line, when you feel like you might be losing, if you keep that, if you learn how to cope with the things that come your way and learn how to handle them and be a survivor of things, then you'll make it through and you'll be victorious and you will be successful and you will win.
Amen to that. That's literally where giants are made.
Yes.
But, you stand up strong again. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to crossing paths again soon.
Yes.
And meanwhile, we wish all of you love, peace, and safety. See you next time.
See you next time. All right.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to share this video and like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at NewUL. Until next time, stand tall in your power and remember, your belief in yourself is your superpower.